Good morning, trading world. It is April 9th, 2021, 8:23 a.m. on the East Coast, and this is my pre-market outlook. There is a lot to talk about today, but I'm going to get through it quickly. In today's theme, momentum. What goes up must continue up. All right, that can't be right. All right, a little joke in the theme today, but where we are, if you look at things on the surface of the market, it seems like this momentum trade can just keep going forever. And that's just at the surface. But if you pull back a few things and if you look below the surface, there is a crazy or vicious undertow awakening right now. And that undertow, part of it are the bonds. Before the Fed stepped in and started buying bonds like a madman, the bonds used to be an incredible internal for me. It could give you hints almost before the market turns. I use it as an internal to kind of signify a reversal because the bonds were a negative coefficient to the market, which just means if the market's going up, the bonds are going down. If the bonds are going up, then the market is going down. But ever since the Fed started buying bonds like a madman, I had to stop using that in my internal looks that I use. But this week we saw some signs that they may be waking up again. So we'll see how that plays out today. That's going to be a key figure into what goes on today. Now, actually at the moment, this could actually change the outlook for today. We have the PPI numbers coming out today. The PPI measures inflation. It measures wholesale inflation on a monthly basis. And it kind of examines the change in wholesale prices of goods shipped from manufacturers. And just a heads up on the PPI number, if it exceeds estimates, stocks falls, bonds falls, yields rise, US dollar stronger. If it misses estimates, stocks rise, bonds rise, yields fall, US dollar weaker in normal times. These have not been normal times for quite some time. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out today. That number comes out at 8:30. I'll be watching it right now, but I have to do my pre-market outlook and analysis before it comes out, so it doesn't inflect the data from the PPI, which we are kind of trending down, and that could give us a little momentum to the downside to help us break through support this morning. So with that being said, let's get into the outcomes of today. Outcome number one is that we hold this support around 407 and bounce off, and we get a retest of the overnight high 409.79, and if we can break through that high that opens the door up to 412 possibly. So if we break through that, any retest back toward that 408 area is a great time to get long. Bring out your calls, your bull call spreads or bull put spreads. It's a great time to use those in that area. Now, this has a 45% probability of happening today. I am looking at the PPI numbers as we speak, or waiting on them to see if this will change. But as of right now, the probability of number one happening is 45%. Outcome number two. And all of this is very similar to yesterday because we spent a lot of time in that consolidation period yesterday before kind of breaking out at the close. The number two outcome, which I give a 35% probability of happening, we break through the support area at 407. And if we break through that support area, that opens up a door to 405. That's this area down here. And because today is expiration day, it can get crazy, and we can go test near the 400 area because things are known to get crazy on an expiration day. So what you're looking at here, off the opening, we come down, break support, we'll have a breather or pullback. This is where you can really go short with your high delta puts. Being under the mind frame that I was yesterday about this snapback, it never did line up the way that I wanted it to yesterday, so I didn't, because usually seeing something ahead of time, like the setup at the end of the day, I'm usually very good at putting those puts in place. It didn't line up the way that I thought it would, so I didn't put on the positions that I would normally put on. But what I did do, I did spend a little bit of money on some today expiring puts at the 409 level, I believe. Let me see what that was or what they were. Yeah, I took a put at the 409 area and a 408 put just at the close. Normally I put like a stop loss of about $100, but on these there was no need because it's under $100, so it's, you know, like either it happens and we make good money, it doesn't, and it's my normal stop loss or less than my normal stop loss. So that's why I did that yesterday. But this outcome has a 35% probability of happening. And one of the things that I want to say is that I usually look at various time frames to compile a bullish or bearish bias. The last two that I look at, the 30-minute and the hourly, I look at before the open. I usually compile that data right or 30 minutes before the opening, because if I do it now, it's not going to be accurate. It has the possibility of changing before then. So I'll be waiting. I'll be very interested today to see how that plays out. But just to let you know where we are right now, on that 30-minute, we're at a 50-50 basis. It could go either way. It hasn't made up its mind yet. So I will be watching that very intently. So that is outcome number 2. Again, 35% probability of breaking that 407 support and opening up a door to 405 and possibly 400. All right. We have outcome number 3, which I give a 20% probability of happening. And even though I say 20%, this is more likely to happen first before we get into outcome number 1 or 2. It's not really if it'll happen. This is going to happen, and it's pretty much what happens after this. So I give this a 20% probability of happening or continuing, is what I should say, through the opening, is that we consolidate between this 409 area and 407, just bouncing back and forth before we make up our mind and break out into outcome number 1 or outcome number 2. We had a long consolidation yesterday because we were waiting for Fed speak at 12, so it managed to consolidate. I don't really see that happening as much today because the economic data that we're looking for is going to happen prior to market, usually, because for some reason we are still waiting on PPI numbers. They haven't released the PPI numbers yet. I don't know what's going on with that, but very strange. So outcome number 3, 20% probability. It's just basically range bound between 409 and 407. Some things, other things to kind of look at and pay attention to today. Tech and financials. Can they keep it up? Because both are have been up and gaining as of yesterday. Can they keep it up? If both tech and financials continue on this pace and continue to hover at their highs or push toward highs, then this SPY will continue to push toward new highs. If one falls off, then that will leave the SPY range bound, or a lag to the SPY where it could possibly be a lopsided range. And that lopsided range would be more likely to the downside. If both decide to fall today, then undoubtedly the SPY will fall with them. And that will be the snapback that we're looking for. So those are the things to keep your eyes on. Financials, tech, and the bonds. Because these are definitely strange times in the market. So with that being said, again, know your risk. Wishing you a profitable day. Have a great one.